Hey, Shani from SpeedCubeReview.com. So we're at the final mega comparison for 2017. So we're doing 7x7. The only two I really didn't do were the Scube and Square One. For Square One, there's really only two main cubes, MoYu and QiYi, and I have reviews of each of those. And for Scube, I talked about that during the mega comparison. This one's going to be a little more haphazard. I'm going to kind of go through the different cubes kind of in the order they came out, and then talk about preferences at the very end and maybe what you should get. So the only one I really don't have that's kind of an important one is V-Cubes, because V-Cubes pretty much invented the 7x7. They're the ones who really first made it possible and mass-produced them. The reason I don't have it though is because it's not really tensionable, and although it's a decent cube, I've had it, it's not something that you'll really see any of the top solvers using. So shout out to V-Cubes for that, but it's not going to be in this video. The big one that was around for a while was Shengshou, and they had their full-size one and then their mini. Now the full-size one is a nice cube, but the mini is really what people will use. It's 69 millimeters and feels really comfortable. The one big thing about this is that it was really sluggish, and there's a common spring swap of putting Diane springs in here, which I have done. And that has definitely sped it up a lot. Now, with a lot of breaking in and use, this can be quite nice, and there probably still are people who use this today. Corner cutting is okay. Reverse corner cutting is almost non-existent. There's a very little bit. One thing about this is it is quite flexible, especially with the Diane springs, and I found a lot of pops or lockups with this one. The big one that came out next was from MoYu, the MoYu AoFu, and they had a pillowed version, which was really nice. A lot of people use that. Pillowed cubes are allowed for 7x7. They are not allowed for any other size puzzle. They came out then with the AoFu GT, which was their square version. Now it's a little bit larger than the mini Shengshou, only by about like a millimeter or two. It is noticeable with that size. This is a much more stable puzzle, and this is one that I really enjoy using. Corner cutting is a little bit better, and reverse is a little bit better as well. You can just see there's a few more holes in these pieces to allow for more corner cutting. A lot of people use this as their main. The only debate with the mini one is often with breaking this in and using this a lot, it can be kind of nice. Also, there was a price difference. Now I'm going to talk about price at the very end. So then, YuXin came out with their 7x7 and QiYi with theirs. So we have the YuXin 7x7. These have caps over the pieces, and so there's primary plastic inside and then caps on the outside, and they give you some extra caps in case anything falls off. One thing I really like about the YuXin one, it's pretty fast out of the box. All the layers are quite nice. There's not really anything that's super sluggish. I do find sometimes my fingernail catching on those caps, and so that's one thing that I do have to adjust my turning a little bit, or at least just make sure my fingernails are quite short. Corner cutting is nice for this. I'd say a little bit better than the AoFu, as well as reverse. As far as QiYi, this one just came out, and this one I was waiting for a little bit, and that's why this video is coming out a little bit late. Corner cutting is also right up there with that YuXin, as well as reverse. I find this one to be a little more flexible, but it feels a little more sturdy. And what I mean by that is that because it's not caps over the pieces, and they're just more of solid pieces, it feels like a much more solid puzzle. The inner layers on this are a little bit more slower than the YuXin, but with some breaking in, that will go away. Now, there are caps on the pieces, and they can pop off. So if I was to use this at a competition, I actually might go through and glue different pieces on, because I'm finding some of those popping off quite often. Both of these are around 69 millimeters, and just slightly smaller than the AoFu. Now I measured all of these right before I did the video, and these are all around the same size. This one's a little bit harder to measure because it has stickers, and the other ones are stickerless, but they're all around 69 to 70 millimeters. So these are the three big ones today. There's the AoFu GT, the YuXin, and the QiYi Wuji. But there are a few more budget ones. These are all around $40. The Shengshou is around $30. But at around $25 to $30, there's the MF7, as well as from YJ, the YuFu and the GuanFu. Now during the unboxing, I was saying that the YuFu and GuanFu are the same design, just this is available stickerless and this is stickered. That I was told from Speed Cube Shop, and they heard that straight from YJ. So they are the exact same cube, and they feel almost identical. The only thing I'd say it's different is the stickerless one seems to be a little bit slower than the black one, but that might just be setup and lubrication. I don't think the plastic's really that much different. So for this instance, I'm just going to talk about the YuFu because I like stickerless puzzles. As far as these two compared, they look extremely similar. Shades are pretty much the exact same, and they feel both the exact same in the hands. Actually, if I took off the stickers, I don't know if I'd be able to tell them apart. I like the MF7 a little bit more. It feels a little bit smoother, and actually a little bit faster. Outside layers are nice on here, but as I get more inside, they tend to slow down. Now, I'm sure this could change with lubrication and doing hundreds of solves on it, but just out of the box, that is one thing I found the MF7 to be a little bit nicer on. So what should you get? Now, on all of these, you can use these, and if you're starting out, it's perfectly fine. When you start out, speed isn't really an issue, so it's more of just not having any pops or many of them, and with that, it's going to be with accurate turning. I would suggest one of the budget ones, and for about $25 to $30, the MF7 is definitely a great choice. If you want something that some of the top cubers will use, I could see someone using this, but it's probably going to be between these three. And more often than not, I'm seeing people going towards the YuXin or the Wuji. Now, at the recent competition, I brought these two and had people try them, and it was pretty much a 50-50 split. Some people liked the YuXin more, some people liked the Wuji. The outer layers are a little bit bigger on the YuXin, and because of that, I really like this for the 3x3 stage. Now, Felix Zemdegs used the Wuji to break the world record, and that he broke it actually before this was released to the public, and Kevin Hayes uses the YuXin. Both of them are nice cubes, and you can get pretty much the exact same times on both. So as far as the feeling of the cube, I like the feeling of the Wuji a little bit more. It just feels a little bit nicer turning, just kind of a style that I like. The YuXin is a little bit faster and a little bit scratchier. The one nice thing I'll say about the AoFu GT is it's really nice and smooth. It has that nice MoYu feel to it, and being a much slower solver, this one is still nice, and I really like using the AoFu GT. So this was a little haphazard, but sort of to recap, all of these are great to use. There's only one really good pillared one that I would recommend, which is the AoFu. As far as budget, we have the MF7, and then we have these three for the nice ones, with the YuXin and the Wuji being the popular ones today. So really, I guess you would ask yourself if you like them to have, if you like a little bit faster and scratchier feel, or something that's just slightly smoother and solid feeling. So you really can't go wrong with any of these. And if you have the YuFu, GuanFu, Shengshou, or the pillared one, they are still great puzzles, and you can still get great times on pretty much any of them. So thank you very much. Please leave your thoughts and questions in the comment section below. Hit like, subscribe for more content like this in the future. And as always, stop by speedqbview.com for more news and reviews.